Hello friends, Big Stupid Green here with a quick League of Extraordinary Investigators, kind of an intermission, a look back, overanalyzing the play and luck for the first quarter of the campaign, the first two scenarios, House Always Wins, and extracurricular activity. Basically, this is an ultra dorky video with no gameplay in it, so you've been warned. Here's the leaderboard after two scenarios. We are in 4th place, turns taken being the tiebreaker between Dane and myself there. But we're at 8 points, 8 VP. We're behind the leaders by 2. Considering we don't have access to delve too deep, and the first scenario we could have gotten better luck, I'm okay with this. In House Always Wins, we got 3 victory points. Resolution 2, we got out of the casino with Dr. Morgan. Dr. Morgan was actually pretty good in the in extracurricular activity, so it was good that we got him. I made a massive amount of rules mistakes, nothing game-breaking, but pretty embarrassing. I wasn't a big fan of that stream by me. I think I was a little nervous trying to stream and trying to be entertaining. I much more prefer how I come off during my other YouTube videos. So anyway, here's the House Always Wins luck. The orange bar there is the rough percentage of how often we would take that particular chaos token, and then the pistachio bar there is the percentage actually drawn. Pretty lucky that time with 10 token draws, and we passed all 10. And we passed all of them at a +4 or above. So that's kind of Silas at his best. He can commit so many resources and so many skills pretty recklessly. Because if we don't need them, we can take them back. And because we're Silas, we're running a massive amount of skill cards. Not quite 20, but more than 15 or 16. We'll see the deck later. I just threw up a picture of Double or Nothing because that would be awesome if he could run that. Probably too good. So Double or Nothing doesn't have the innate trait, so it's not an option in Silas. And then I thought long and hard about upgrades for extracurricular activity. I thought about going on the Exile train immediately, but I thought against it. Devil's Luck there being kind of a counter to Beyond the Veil and any massive swings by boss monsters. Fearless too, of course. One of our big weaknesses is our sanity pool, so that was an option. Upgrading our newspaper, of course, was a big option. Scrapper lets us get to Dark Horse easier if we don't have the Fire Axe while we're fighting. And the extra agility is okay too. And of course, it's permanent, so you don't have to draw it. Stroke of Luck there. Again, going on the XL train there basically guarantees a test as long as you don't draw a tentacle. But what I actually took was Charisma. I consider that kind of a meme choice in Dunwich Legacy because there you get so many allies, but it's actually pretty good for Silas. The only problem is you do have to have resources to play multiple allies, which has a slight negative synergy with Dark Horse, but it's not too bad. Then in extracurricular activity, we did a lot better. We got 5 victory points, reaching resolution 3 by defeating the experiment. We got the Orn Library. We defeated 2 extra enemies with victory points in the out of the encounter deck, and then of course we defeated the experiment. Chaos Bag was a little bit more difficult this time around. We passed 14 out of 17 tests, thanks to 2 tentacle pulls, which is those are never welcome. Actually got 2 tentacles at the same back-to-back, which is a 1 in 225 chance, so that was fun. Again, we took most of our tests at +4 or above, but we failed 2 of those, which is definitely unexpected. We made up for that by winning a test at even, which is pretty low odds. I think it was like 4 out of 16, 5 out of 16 that you can pass an even test. Upgrades for Miskatonic Museum were no-brainers. We have to start getting clues. We can't get around that fact any longer in this campaign. So we took 2 newspapers, the upgraded ones, and we got rid of our unupgraded newspaper and our resourceful. Resourceful is a good card. I just don't think I have enough survivor cards, and it is at the end of the day only giving +1 to our skill, so it wouldn't have scaled up as well as other things. Um, Newspaper 2 is really good for solo because often locations will only have 1 or 2 clues on them, so you can use it and grab everything off of the location, which is nice. This is how the current deck is looking. So we are running 18 skill cards and 16 assets. We're only using 7 experience out of the 8 that we have, but that's okay. There wasn't anything at 1 experience point that I really wanted, so now the Miskatonic Museum is going to be a little bit scary for Silas because there's a lot of there's asset hate, there's willpower hate. We could just get the haunting horror a bunch of times. I had a test run where I drew Dreams of the Deep and had no tests I could pass, so I was just starting to take 2 damage every single turn from that. That was pretty devastating. Our strategy: we are hard mulliganing for upgraded newspaper. That means if I draw any 5 cards that aren't newspaper 2, I'm going to throw back all 5 of them. The newspaper is that important in this scenario. I'm going to probably opt to fight the haunting horror. You could try to evade it, but it's got that chance of just readying and moving anyways during the enemy phase. And then there are a lot of locations in the Miskatonic Museum, but because the museum halls is the big hub, you can't really get around the haunting horror. You can't kite them around. And then with newspaper 2, it works best, or it only works when you have no clues on you. So we're going to spend all of our clues that we have at the museum halls, spawn all of the locations as fast as possible, just to keep newspaper 2 active. Then we would rather break the door down over investigating to enter the museum. You get Harold Walstead if you break down the door, which we need all of the investigation help that we can get. Adam Lynch is okay, but is not nearly as good as Harold Walstead. Also, we're going to have less fight checks, so breaking the door down requires strength 5 or fight 5. So it's easier to use skill cards for that than trying to investigate and grabbing 2 clues from the entrance. And then we prefer the security office over the admin office. Admin office provides lower shroud locations for easier clues, but the requirements are kind of annoying, especially you cannot investigate while you have 4 or fewer resources. That's a really big bummer. The other version, 4 or fewer cards in your hand, that's not nearly as bad. So, but the security office gives us no such limitations and a couple of abilities if we really want to look for them. Especially the one on the left there. Search the top 6 cards of your deck. If we need something important, then that's a good way to go searching for it. And that's it for me. I'm not sure when I'm going to stream this. I've been kind of having a rough go at work, and now I'm fighting a ear infection, so I haven't been able to record a lot, and I apologize for that. But I'll get back on the horse, so to speak, and start producing things. I have a couple of custom scenarios lined up for that series, and of course, I'll be streaming the Miskatonic Museum eventually. Not sure when, but anyway, thanks for watching if you did, and I'll see you next time. So please have a good one.